Hey YouTube, if you watched any of my last few videos, you know that this has been a problem for a while now. Whenever I'm on the road, lay into it much at all, after the car's warmed up, this thing will trip. Now I've reset it and it won't even manually, oh, there it almost sounded like it did, but you can see this didn't flip at all. So finally time to replace it with something a little more sturdy for under the hood. Also, when I pulled it out, noticed the bracket I'd made for it is starting to tear out. So I'm going to try and come up with something a little bit thicker than a 20 gauge here. So start off, right, tearing the old one down. Pretty straightforward. The two ends come off. All right, and I believe the Allen wrench I'm going to want is right here. All right, so yank the set screws. There we go. Pull the other one. And take a look at the copper here. Make sure that the set screw didn't destroy too much of it, which doesn't look like it has. Line those both ends back up nice and tight. I'll also pull these plastic caps off. If you forget to do that, then you'll be staring at them for a while. Suppose you can smash them off with a hammer, but all right. So get everything back set, ready to go here. And went to my local tractor supply store and picked up their Traveler brand battery cable lugs, 4 gauge, right? And these were like $4 cheaper than the ones they sold over in the welding section under the Hobart label. Only difference I could tell is the flared end. So didn't make a lot of difference to me. We're going to be shrink wrapping over that anyway. So got my two ends. Next tool I'll grab is a set of iWis. It's the HX-50BI 8 to 1/0 battery cable crimpers. Got these on Amazon. So far I've made every cable on here with these and they've worked pretty well. So we'll spin it around to the 4 gauge. All right. Then we'll get our cable ready to crimp. And that looks, make sure it'll fit through my heat shrink before I crimp it down. So we'll get that mount on here. And next step is simply to crimp. I usually put a couple in these to make sure it's getting a good bite on here. You can see I pinched it down pretty hard on one side. I can't pull that and it won't, well, it'll twist enough to unwind where I twisted it up. But so that end's done. Grab the next side. All right. Same thing, crimp. And then I'll hit it again with the second one. Everything looks locked down well. Not moving. So at this point we're ready to put some heat shrink on there, bolted up, which might take a little clearancing depending on the space around the lug and the nut, the bolt. So for heat shrink, all I do is try and cover up close to the bolt down part as possible, get a little bit of overlap here. So we cut one and then cut the other. We'll slip this over. Grab my Drill Master cheapy heat gun from Harbor Freight that works very well. First one's done. I usually heat these up until you can see the glue starting to run out from under the heat shrink. So a good tight seal, waterproof. So not worried about anything corroding there. Get the next one set up. And the second one's done. One thing I will note here, I was out of red heat shrink, or I would have used red, but for the time being, since I have other things planned today, throw this on there for now. I'll order some more in, and then when it shows up, I'll yank these off and then just put another sleeve over them and recover them in red. Call it a day. So next up, I'm going to remake a mount, the one I made for this one. Get it on here so I have a solid mount point for this to set, and then we'll get it back on the car. Okay, after checking the shop here, I come up with some 063 6061 aluminum. So I'm going to trace out the breaker here. All right. Mark the drill spots. And I will pull that off. Then I will overlay the last mount I made to get a rough idea of where I need to cut. And that's a drill spot on it. So next up, trying to get a new disc in the grinder and go do some cutting. See the mounting plate cut out. Right now it's just time to clean up some edges. A new 120 grit disc. Here we go. Alright, time to go test fit. Time to get this thing mounted. Excuse the background weed eater noise there. It's one of the few nice days we've had on the weekend here in a while. So I'm using stainless on the aluminum here, just some number 10 3/4 inch, and it fits perfectly through here lengthwise. And then backing those using Nylox. got it ready to go back on the car. So let's see if this cures the problem. Okay, going back in reverse order, I'm going to reattach alternator lead first. So I'll slip back the cover here a bit. And on this one, it's a 10 millimeter. As the struggle of life goes, my 10 millimeter is missing, at least the short one. So revert back to a wrench, call it a day. Alright, that's hand tight enough to move the car when I snug it up. My mounting bolt, which now I'm realizing I may need to drill a size larger, runs through the case. I'm using the case bolt for the mount on the alternator. So grab my drill, enlarge that a hair, and we'll get back to it. Alright, holes enlarged. Time to get this back on. Before I drop it in there, I'll check size on it. Try assuming this is a 10 mil as well. No. This one may have been the 8 mil. Yes, it is. So, I'll bring this up around. Before I do, though, I'll go ahead and slip my cover up on here. Okay, next connection is to run our 4-gauge lead wire back down to the bulkhead mount. Which I don't know if you can see, but way down under here. So we'll get that connected and we're ready to give it a try. back installed. Slip the post cover back down over it, which I found out with the ones that I ordered, I've had to trim them up the back side to get them to slip over. But after trimming them a bit, they fit great. So there we have it. Got new breakers on. See the bracket I formed for it bolted down. All right, run the lead back to the firewall where I have a ground that comes through my alternator bulkhead and my starter cable bulkhead. So, which the starter cable is the only one I haven't tucked yet, and that's because it's a pain to get to. So for now, it is what it is. So hopefully this problem's down and we're back to the carburetor and it should be back in business. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you want notifications and follow, hit the little bell and there'll be more coming. Thank you. Bye.